Well, I have some tickets, PRs on Pepsi and Ansible. Seems like Zach has done a pretty good job reviewing and merging it, but there's some them still in progress and
Your name was mentioned yesterday in Sepia.
yeah, because I was meeting some new set of patches and was asking for review. So what I'm doing now is just going through the Pepsi and Ansible scripts and adapting them for OpenSUSE distros. And at the moment, I'm able to deploy Tautology server to OpenSUSE on OVH. And now I'm just trying to run dummy suite still, but there are some issues with the image. It can't log in, so it's probably some misconfiguration still. But I'm very close to the point that we can probably have a job which can be executed on PRs and try to deploy tautology in OpenStack and run some dummy scripts or for the first.
You mean in Sepia?
No, not in Sepia. But in any in OVH, for example, we have own OVH in SUSE, and we probably can share it with community, so it can install in some test environment and run something on OVH for testing patches to tautology.
Okay.
So, but I don't know if it's possible to. I don't know if there's probably a machine or in Sepia. I don't know. And it's probably will require some changes to this set of scripts, but I'm not familiar with the Sepia lab at all. So maybe if someone who's interested can help me with, or is there any sense to use the OVH you guys are using for testing purposes of tautology itself?
Well, so we have several machine types in Sepia, and OVH is one of them, which we actually started to use less than before. And other machines types are bare metals. So essentially,
yeah, I saw it.
Do you have access to Sepia?
I haven't got any access because, but I believe it's pretty easy to get access to it. but the question is more general. So, uh, do you understand what I'm working on? And like test job for tautology itself. So it can be deployed as a isolated environment, tested environment, and try to run some jobs on it. But it's not kind of the procedure of improving the process of deploy new version of tautology on live system.
Yeah, I mean, I understand in general, but how is that different conceptually from any other job?
It's a Jenkins job. It's not running under tautology control, but it's deploying the tautology itself. So it's allocates nodes on OVH or on a OpenStack, on any OpenStack. Right now it's in proof of concept stage, and it's just using Terraform right now, but it can be changed in next versions. So it just allocates a machine where it deploys the tautology worker, scheduler, it deploys pedals, pulpito, and tries to run a dumb suite on the same it's also deploys a name server and an as update web service on the same node, same server. So and it allows to play with jobs on changes you're doing with NPR. Something.
We may need to talk to David or Zach about that, or maybe somebody else if this is Jenkins. But okay.
Yeah, as we discussed earlier, Zach was saying that probably we can have a suite in tautology itself, so it can run a self-tests. But I don't know how it's probably it will be interesting. Probably. Do you know how many resources do you have in OVH, or do you continue? Are you going to continue to use it?
I don't know how many resources in terms of contract we have. I know that we had like I think as many as we needed at some point, just based on the money amount.
Mm-hmm.
I think we can give it a try. I don't know what Zach meant by that suite, but I think we used to have a suite called Tautology that was intended to do what you're describing, like to self-test Tautology.
Mm-hmm.
And you can take a look at that suite and see exactly what it used to do. Or we don't run it, but yeah, I mean maybe I think it would be good to self-test this tautology. But as far as I understand, you need to deploy like a test version of tautology, and that's what you want to test.
Yes, this is exactly what we need to improve our testing process.
Yeah,
of tautology PRs.
we can get like if you need maybe next time we can get like people that you need and talk to them. I don't think that Zach actually has this meeting on his schedule, but we can make sure that he comes.
So right now I'm working on this for our OpenSUSE distros. But and I saw that it's installed on Ubuntu, the default Ansible scripts. But we probably can improve it and add coverage for CentOS or something, and we can run the test for deploying the tautology on using those Ansible scripts on all of the ranges of the operating system. I think it's like for the first step before we can package switch to packaging tautology and produce repos.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's really something that I need because often I can't test in environment. I can test changes in environment close to the real, just unit test. And I believe it would be useful for us. Do you have any updates?
I don't have any updates. So we seems like we released Nautilus yesterday.
Uh-huh.
I'm essentially trying to load up new suites and do some modifications to make sure that all in sync and all needed suites modified. And I need to create a couple of new suites. For example, Nautilus X and Nautilus point to point, and make them, and then I think Nautilus clients and make them run. That's essentially what I'm doing.
Yeah. Cool. I don't know where's Greg or I believe Zach is busy all the time, but
I'm not sure if Zach is actually invited for this meeting, and I don't know exactly where Greg is, but I know that yesterday we had Greg actually sent an email to us, missing Sepia meeting. So he said, I'm traveling this week. I will be on vacation for a few weeks following, so I won't be attending testing week. Okay, so here's Greg. I know that some people are in India and traveling, so we can meet next week, just like make sure that there's no like burning issues. And if you need to like bring some people, I can help you trying to get them.
well, do you think is it possible to use or get some credentials from OVH for these purposes in this, I don't know.
In Sepia?
Yeah.
I think that the way it works, that you get access to Sepia, and then you can, that automatically implies that you get, you will be able to run jobs against OVH. So I think that the normal way to get access to Sepia is to create a ticket in Sepia project and to provide your public key.
Yeah, but this is only for scheduling the suites of tautology already.
You want to get access to the machine? That's what you mean?
I need access to. I mean, in order to run the tautology instance, I need to provide a libcloud configuration, so it it is possible to allocate nodes on OVH. I mean, in the tautology environment that is under test.
You need to talk to David about it. I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't have all details.
Yeah, okay.
You can pin him directly.
I mean, Galloway, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks. Well, seems like I'm still in progress, and I have a break regarding another PR that is regarding the inspect feature. So I probably will not have time for creating a unit test for it.
Cool.
There is a
So
PR. There is a PR in the Ceph Tautology with inspect feature. It's a inspect command line option, similar to dry run, but it's only just prints out the suite's contents. And the latest status was like an action item from my side to implement a unit or functional test to verify if it's generate the same set of facets or house or stanzas for a suite with the same set of options to tautology suite. Have you seen this PR?
which one is it? Is it 126063?
Oh, then wait.
What was that?
It's my colleague.
So I'm looking at Sepia, and so I'm not sure if this is the same subject or not, but
Yeah, 1248. 1248.
1248.
Yeah.
We haven't seen it. What is
There's
that?
a long discussion, but anyway. It's in inspect option. It's a new feature for tautology suite, so it allows to
What exactly
dump.
does it do?
It dumps the suite and it shows which jobs will be generated for particular options. There is a description, and you can see on the file change, and there is a helper. Like you can provide a path to the suite in for example for Ceph repo, and it will print the list of the facets, or how it's
I
called.
think it's interesting. So essentially, you can dump. Can you
Yeah.
dump and see, configurations?
Yeah, it's basically prints the job or just job names, all job names, equivalent names which will appear in the pulpito, and will show the configuration, and it is possible to dump a matrix object with its internals for tautology, and list all the files which are involved in building the run. And you can, and what's good is it doesn't check out anything. You can just point it in your local directory. You do not need a setup of the tautology locally. So you just need to have a development environment of tautology and just run tautology suite, inspect, and they pass to the Ceph QA directory.
Pass to QA. What is that? What does it mean? Pass to QA directory. FQA directory.
So the suites suites are actually living in Ceph repo, right? So
Yes.
and there is directory in Ceph repo QA suites.
Yes.
And you can point to any directory in this QA suite, and it will dump the all content of it. So you can point to the QA suite, so it will dump everything.
But when you use tautology suite,
yeah.
you have to use -s for suite name, so you already know the suite name. What you described, that comes from there. So are you saying that when you use inspect, you don't use -s or what?
Yeah, you don't use -s. You use direct path to the suite.
How do we do test describe? Same way?
Yeah, test describe is actually trying to do something else. It's trying to do some own calculations, but this inspect, which is trying to do the same way as the suite actually does. I mean, the metrics. But it's equivalent to it. Okay, it's not equivalent to describe because describe doesn't work.
Describe doesn't work?
Yeah, you try to run it. I was not able to run it. Anyway, it requires some describes go through all directories on their own. But inspect doesn't do this. It just uses build metrics object, so it just uses the features of tautology API internals. So the describe actually trying to do something else. So it's probably this feature will be replacement for describe.
Well, so describe, I was the one who actually requested describe. Unfortunately, it doesn't get, used widely. But the idea was that if you look at general tautology testing environments, it's not usual for like traditional QA teams, right, to understand what constitutes a test case. Because essentially we operate in an environment test suite and test job and YAML fragments. And YAML fragments constitutes test cases, right? So idea of test describe was that you can automate the way to self-document suites. So essentially, if you run test describe based on some particular suite, you can dump that in a table configuration, and there are some options where you can define what particular elements you want to dump. But you can build it and you can deploy it so people can actually see what was run from that suite, like on job level, on test case level, if you will. Now, what you propose and inspect is also very useful, because essentially you're saying, well, I'm running something like, it dumps a bunch of stuff in output, but I don't really know all what it is. So I want to try it, right? So the way I understand it, that it would be useful, you provide a temp directory, right, where you keep that stuff, and you dump all this in specs, and you can go and take a look at them at actual configurations as well. Is that what you're trying to do?
So let me explain. The inspect feature is actually something in the middle between the describe feature and the dry run. So the difference between describe is that it doesn't parse YAML files and go through the whole directory on its own. So the feature doesn't do this. It just uses the same API as tautology it will do when it's running. But what is the difference between the dry run? It doesn't try to check out anything or do any movements or any preparations, and it doesn't require any working environment like test environment. I'm sorry, not test. It's a server. It doesn't require deployed tautology to make it working. It's very useful when you, for example, you are developing a suite, or you're starting to compose in the suite, and you don't need to, and you want to check what will be the suite, to which job will it be converted at the end, before committing them to the Ceph repo. So before doing everything, you just can have a development environment of tautology, like Bootstrap from tautology, and run this command and point to any Ceph repo on your development machine and see what will you get after you submit it and run it on the production tautology server.
Okay, all right. So it's slightly different than, I mean, typically what I do, I use, like only one tautology environment, and I kind of run around that, but that's still useful.
Yeah, I mean, it can be used for on your local machine, so you don't need to log into anywhere to work in the environment of tautology. You can just use it offline. It doesn't try to connect somewhere and check anything else. You just can run it and it will dump you everything. Also, one of the main advantages, like it allows you to analyze the amount of tests which will be executed by trying different options to tautology, but not running it, in fact, just right on your development box.
Why don't you then, want to modify dry run?
Because dry run, it shouldn't be designed like that. Dry run it's a feature for tautology suite itself to see what will be executed on the machine. So it will dump you too much information, and to clean up everything, it is too much of effort. Like it will show you everything, like checking out repos. You need to have a special configured tautology YAML tautology config file. You need to you will see everything that it's trying to schedule some jobs. So it's not what you need, basically. You need to a quick tool for analyzing the repos. From other side, it's more intuitive for me, for example, to point the directory not but the dry run uses like it checks out the REPL, or you even can point the REPL with Ceph, I guess Ceph path or sweet path or sweet REPL. Yeah, but it will reuse this sweet option, and it will try and look, and you have to point to the root of QA suite directory. So you need to point to QA to the Ceph REPL, not to the directory. So
Okay.
it's less flexible.
Yeah, I'll be as soon as it's merged, I'd be curious to give it a try.
You can actually try to use it before merge. Like you can check out
Yeah,
the
I can check out.
utility.
I can check out and run it as a local copy. But do you see
Yeah.
that it has some conflicts?
No, it doesn't has any conflicts. It just requires a test in Gregory afraid that there is a divergency with output of dry run and the inspect, because some of the parts are not totally reuse everything. Like filters are not. It's they are coded separately.
But the branch seems to be having conflicts with.
Yeah, it's shown that it has no conflicts and it passed all the unit tests, but
Where do you see? I mean, are you talking about 12? Oh man, hold on for a second. 1248?
49, 48, yes,
Yeah, if you
1248.
go look down, on right above merge pull request button.
Oh, last time, is there something new?
Yeah. Anyway, okay, so that's probably, and then
So all checks, it's someone submitted. Okay, so there is conflict with sweet pie, but it should be resolved. I will resolve it because some of my patches to sweet
okay,
already merged and there is a new one. So yeah, I need to rebase it
yeah.
and
But then, okay, can I say something about different?
yeah.
Yeah. So essentially, I don't know. Did you follow that thread with Zach and Brett yesterday about Sweet Branch issue in Sepia, in Sepia IRC?
Sweet branch, yes. So
Do you
and
understand? Do you understand what? Because essentially, Brett was saying that I think I can't, I don't know fine details, but I think he was complaining that the way Dostology schedules jobs with Sweet Branch versus what he did manually were different, and so they were suspecting some stuff. And I think, Zach mentioned your name as well.
so
It's about this one.
mm,
This one.
where's the chat? Okay. Yeah. So at some point I saw the changes that at some point Zach was submitted a change that is removing default value for Ceph branch. And recently I've added a pull request with providing with the environment variables. So, and for this, I removed the the necessity of using the Ceph branch for the suite. Does it? I had some. I wasn't sure that why Zach was removing this default value for Ceph branch.
I
But
don't
anyway,
I don't really know, but just to tell you, I left that discussion at the end, but I was working with Brett trying to understand what's going on, and I think the differences that I have seen that on Pathology Machine for nightlies, we rely heavily on defaults. In other words, we do not specify switch branch ever. So we rely on whatever. So essentially, expected behavior would be whatever is Ceph branch that is used for switch branch. And there are a couple of exceptions where we actually force switch branch. And I think that behavior changed. That's as much as I can tell you.
yeah, okay. So the suite, yes, I added a default suite branch, but so I don't understand who is affected with this change and why. Because if you are just running something and missing the branch name, it will just schedule error with the master. But if you, but okay, when you schedule a run, you probably know what you're doing because you usually know which branch are you providing, right?
Yeah, you do know, but again, as I told you, that
Okay.
like default values assumed to be, doing whatever they used to be doing. I can connect you with Brett. His nick is Bedwan. Do you know him?
Oh no, no.
His nick
Ah,
is
yeah, probably I
Chet.
missed this discussion because it's on another my laptop at home, so I can check it. What was there?
I can paste it for you, like a little bit. Hold on for a second.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a long discussion, but do you want me to paste it here or maybe in IRC?
in RC maybe is fine. Just in private
Yeah, you got it.
to not spam everyone.
Okay. Just FYI, if I will mention to Brett, but he's in Australia, so
Ah, okay.
he's typically like, this is not his time, so he's typically like later on, maybe in the afternoon my time.
That branch. Oh, and I'm not sure
I
this.
think more, interesting part comes down if you go down where when we got Zach online
Yeah,
and
I actually it takes time. It's just it's RC behavior when it's prints line by line very slowly. So I didn't. Nevertheless, you sent everything. I didn't get anything. Everything just lit up, and it continues to printing out the lines.
I can email it to you if you
Oh,
want.
it will just.
But essentially, the only usable portion is that they found this suspect. That's what I pasted in chat here.
Yeah, I believe they probably affected with this. change because it makes the default values. But
that's what we came to, because we couldn't understand what was going on. That's the issue.
But if they provide options directly with arguments and shouldn't be do anything, so probably they lack some or some code is relying of having some values undefined.
I don't know. Can't comment on that.
Okay,
I'm
I
not
will
familiar with
I
this
will
code.
follow I will follow up.
Okie dokie. Do we have anything else?
Nope.
Okay, then I'll see you next time around and have fun.
Okay, thanks. You
Bye bye.
too.
Yep, thanks. Take care.